What's up guys, Jam here. Today we will be covering Chapter 18 of Arc 5. Before we get into things, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on future chapter summaries and more ReZero content. Chapter 17 ended with Subaru and Julius gazing at the sky while bantering with one another. Chapter 18 takes place shortly after Subaru and Julius finish their conversation with one another. Subaru, Emilia, and Beatrice leave the hotel and begin making their way to the park. While walking, Emilia turns to Subaru and smiles. In the courtyard, you were chatting in a friendly way with Julius for once. What were you talking about? First of all, thinking that I was friendly with that guy was a mistake, but what do you think we were talking about? Where should we go to play next time? Something like that. Are we school friends? Emilia keeps insisting to know what Subaru talked to Julius about as a friend. Subaru denies Julius being a friend. Subaru doesn't reveal what they talked about as it concerned Reinhardt and Wilhelm, and he would have felt guilty spreading their business like gossip. Emilia sighs and gives up on trying to get Subaru to tell her what happened earlier. So Subaru, what are you planning? Subaru tells Emilia that he just wanted to show her a fountain and then splash her with some water. Emilia mentions that she knows it's not his real intent. Emilia and Beatrice begin pouting at Subaru. Subaru sighs and raises his hands up in surrender. Okay, I surrender. I'm sorry, I won't splash, Emilia. You saw through me, Emilia. I'll be serious now. I wasn't trying to hide anything. I just wanted to give you a little surprise. Right now we're headed to Pristella's City Park, where yesterday I met the songstress. Wow, the songstress? Will she be there today? Your shining eyes are adorable. Yeah, I have her contact information. Although I have faith in Otto's ability to negotiate, I also have faith that his bad luck will probably cost us this opportunity. So this is insurance. I see, and if we're on good terms with the songstress, then asking Kiritaka to trade us the ore would be like a personal favor. That's it, well done. Subaru reflects on his brief experience with Lilina and mentions that both her and Emilia will get along very well. Emilia laughs and wonders if they will. Subaru was slightly hoping that Lilina wouldn't be at the park so he could enjoy a date with Emilia. Poor Beatrice, she's gonna be the third wheel then. Subaru asks Emilia if she would be interested in going water cruising with him later. Emilia turns him down because she doesn't want him to get seasick again. Beatrice chimes in that they're already at the park and they shouldn't get distracted. The trio made their way to the fountain in the middle of the park. There was a large crowd gathered there, making it very likely that Lilina was here. The crowd was roaring with excitement and much livelier than yesterday. Subaru, Emilia, and Beatrice begin making their way to the front of the crowd, where they are greeted by Lilina and Priscilla of all people. That was a really amazing dance. I started losing myself. Not at all. Your performance and singing were what captured my attention so completely. Just as it deserved to. It has been a long time since I've seen such a display of skill. Priscilla had been showered with praise from the audience for her dancing. She responded by fanning herself and spreading her arms wide. Once the performance had ended, only Subaru, Emilia, and Beatrice remained. Lilina notices and begins catching up with them. Although it's only been a day, here you are, staging another grand performance. Were you kicked out by Kiritaka again? Well, that would be right. So, even after being booted out, you thought that holding a performance would be perfectly fine? Priscilla, who had been quiet with her arms crossed, snorted at Subaru. What have you been doing? Even if you were taken in by mine allure, resting your gaze upon me like that is incredibly rude. I didn't see her dance, but even if I had, I wouldn't have been too excited. I only like delicate girls like Emilia. Preferring a half-witch over me is a mark of utter helplessness. An amazing dance? Priscilla, were you dancing? Feel regret that you missed it. Dancing is not something I do lightly. That is to say, this artist's song had something to offer. Priscilla points at Lilina. Subaru was shocked at Priscilla's answer while Lilina rolled her eyes at him. You dance for people? That's completely unexpected. Then how would you regard the frenzy of that crowd of fools just now? Fools will remain fools and the ignorant will remain ignorant. Why not have color added to both mine and their day? In other words, fools indulging in foolishness will be happier. You're obviously a commoner, but you're quite adept at comprehension. Lilina, sensing the tension in the air, tries to ease it by thanking Emilia and Priscilla for making time out of their days to witness her singing. Was my song so beautiful? Honestly, that just embarrasses me. Nope, this is her real nature. Subaru notices that Priscilla was by herself and changes the topic. Are you alone? No Al or that damn bastard or the cute butler? I allowed Schultz to go for a walk, but he seems to have gotten lost. He tries very hard but is a good for nothing at everything he does. That's the cute kind of child he is. Since Al's constant nagging is annoying, I sent him out to look for Schultz. As for the damn bastard, I am unsure. Perhaps he's at a tavern somewhere. So damn bastard is actually a common language between us. Subaru was surprised that Heinkel wasn't even liked by his own faction and wonders why Priscilla invited him in the first place. Then Subaru mutters to himself the obvious answer. She would say something like, because having him nearby would be interesting though. Priscilla overhears Subaru's muttering and tells him that he's correct. Subaru asks Priscilla if she threw Al aside to come see Lelina. Priscilla nods in agreement and mentions that the city has done a good job of keeping her entertained. Lelina jumps in and mentions that it's rare for people to start dancing while she performs. Priscilla offers Lelina the honor to stay at her mansion and play for her. Lelina pauses, then thanks Priscilla for her offer and politely declines. Priscilla wasn't too pleased by her answer as her gaze darkened. I am Lelina, a traveling bard. Although it is true that I'm being asked to stay in the city like this, I'm a traveler who will return to wandering with the wind sooner or later. Therefore, my invitation was refused. Lelina continues and mentions that because everyone in her family was a bard, she will trust the wind to guide her. Priscilla stares at Lelina and then sighs. Excellent. That determination is also pleasing. The vulgar one here seems to have been I. Subaru was shocked. For once, Priscilla didn't freak out when told no. Priscilla notices this and turns to Subaru. What is it, commoner? You seemed bothered. It's really nothing other than shock. I thought you were going to bisect Lelina after she rejected you. That's a rather ridiculous worry. Subaru was relieved that they were able to avoid angering Priscilla until Emilia decided to speak up. But I was also a little surprised, since Priscilla seems like I'll take whatever I want kind of person. What foolish words, half-witch. How could your clouded eyes ever judge mine character? What an unforgivable girl, in fact. You should reflect on yourself and your own demeanor, I suppose. Beatrice had thrown her hat into the ring. Priscilla was not too pleased by being told off by a little girl. They began going back and forth with insults. Subaru attempted to break up the argument. Don't be so stubborn, Bayako. Subaru, do not stop Betty, in fact. Aren't you angry that Emilia is being belittled, I suppose? Could you not say such terrible things, not to mention? Subaru and Emilia were surprised that Beatrice was sticking up for someone aside from Subaru. Beatrice, I'm fine. Be grateful that you've been spared, I suppose. That's how you should feel. Thank your own cute face. Priscilla and Beatrice snorted at one another. At least World War III was avoided. Subaru turns to Priscilla and sighs. You really are an irrational woman. Of course. Are you so proud that you believe yourself capable of seeing through any woman, let alone I? Subaru and Priscilla begin going back and forth with one another, until Lelina jumps in, ignoring the tense atmosphere. Lelina offers to show off her voice. Right before she started, Lelina whispers to Subaru and asks if Emilia and Priscilla are on bad terms. Subaru nods, which excites Lelina. This is huge. Lelina asks Subaru if they should prepare snacks and drinks for them to help close the distance between the two of them. Subaru sighs, seeing that Lelina won't take no for an answer. Alright, I'll go buy some snacks while Lelina sings. Emilia, I'll be right back, so don't argue with anyone and wait here quietly, okay? Really, you don't need to worry so much, and besides, it wouldn't happen anyway. I don't want to fight with Priscilla. Beatrice, if something happens with Emilia, I'll leave it up to you. I know, in fact. That girl, if she tries to talk again, I'll turn her into ash, I suppose. You won't argue either, right? Beatrice pouts and doesn't give an answer. Subaru takes that as a yes and turns to Priscilla. Priscilla, is there anything you won't eat? How unexpected. A commoner like you is actually showing consideration? Well, in that case, prepare something interesting. If you find something boring, I'll lift you up by your head and then slam you down again. Guessing what you'd like would be like playing rock, paper, scissors. Why'd you have to impose such a cruel condition? Priscilla tilts her head to the side, not sure what Subaru meant by rock, paper, scissors. Subaru, be careful. If anything happens, call for Betty, in fact. Subaru waves at them as he takes off, heading down the main road. It had been 10 minutes since Subaru had left the park. He was worried about bringing something that Priscilla wouldn't like. While Subaru was lost in thought, he nearly ran into someone. Sorry, I don't think I hit you, but are you good? Whoa, is it Chin? You were even hired by Felt. Why are you still doing the same foolish things? You're so damn annoying, and I've told you it's not Chin, and what are you even doing here? Subaru asks Larkins where his friends are, but Larkins tells him that he's busy and makes his way into the crowd. Subaru shakes his head, then notices that everyone is looking up at the clock tower. Even Larkins had noticed. Gosh, honestly, please excuse me, I'm very sorry. A figure was staring out of the clock tower's window, dangerously close to falling off. Thank you, I really only need a little bit of it, so please let me borrow your time. The figure was wrapped in bandages, only its eyes were uncovered. My apologies, I'm the witch cult Sin Archbishop of Wrath. I am Sirius Ramane Kanti. And that sums up chapter 18 of Arc 5. Damn, it looks like Arc 5 is now truly going to begin. We have a grand total of 2 Sin Archbishops in Priscilla so far, both Greed and Wrath. I wonder if there's any more Sin Archbishops in Priscilla. 2 Sin Archbishops are no joke, but Reinhardt is here with the other factions. Tappe will need to raise the stakes to make it feel like Subaru and the others are in actual danger. But I think it's only a matter of time before Subaru begins dying again. Let me know if you think Subaru will die in the next chapter. There were also some nice character interactions in this chapter. I'm really glad that we're getting more Priscilla in this arc. I've mentioned this before, but she is one of the most interesting candidates and the one that we know the least about. I was shocked that Priscilla didn't go nuts after Lelina turned her down. Not going to lie, I was hoping Priscilla took Lelina out of the story and would have indirectly taken Kiritaka out as well. It also seems that Priscilla respects those who have determination. I wonder if Priscilla will come to respect Subaru in a future arc because he is one of, if not the most determined character in the series. I can't wait to cover the next couple of chapters. Things are starting to heat up. Let me know if you guys have any theories, predictions, or thoughts about the chapter or going forward in the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of the comments, then responding to and discussing 3 to 5 comments in the next video. Alright, as promised last time, now to get into 6 comments of the last video. The first comment comes in from Steerman100. They wrote, "I love this chapter due to Julius and Subaru. They're starting to become more friends rather than enemies." Which is nice because honestly, Subaru getting salty over Julius and not forgiving him and not moving on has been something I have not liked about Subaru's character, and to be honest, that was mostly Subaru's fault. Anyway, I hope Subaru truly becomes a swordsman and maybe learns spirit magic like Julius. That would be dope. Keep up the great content. I couldn't have agreed more, Steerman. While I understand why you would be annoyed with Subaru not forgiving Julius already, it makes sense according to his character that it's not easy for him to let things go. Also, I don't think Subaru will be a swordsman in the main story, but in the Agnew if he is. He might be able to learn spirit magic later on though. Also, thank you for your support as always. The next comment comes in from Andre. They wrote, "Julius is basically thanking Subaru because, even though he himself is dubbed the finest of knights, he's inspired by Subaru's genuine and chivalric nature." You're spot on, Andre. They're both virtuous and that's why they can be good friends. Hopefully we'll see it develop more. The next comment comes in from SH. They wrote, "Subaru and Julius argue a lot, but in the end they always agree with each other on the topic. It's literally like a real-life brothers relationship and it's just gold. I think the reason Heinkel is such a jerk is because he feels guilty about Theresia's death being his fault but can't get over it and takes his frustration out on Wilhelm and Reinhardt. The Estrella family is such a mess. I also can't help but dislike Heinkel, but maybe a further explanation can maybe change my mind. I mean, Tappei made me cry for a maniac like Betelgeuse, so I don't think Heinkel could be that hard for him. Subaru and Julius's banter is always fun to read. I'm glad that we got more of that in this arc and hopefully we'll get more going forward. Also, you bring up a good point about Heinkel taking his anger out on the rest of the family. Time will tell though. And yeah, I did feel bad for Betelgeuse, so I'm sure Tappei could do the same for Heinkel." The next comment comes in from Malik. They wrote, "Currently stuck at chapter 65, man. Really sucks. I've been procrastinating on reading the chapters, although I'm so close to the end. Ah damn, I can understand why. If I recall correctly, those are the dedicated Lelina chapters, which are easily the worst part of this arc, but once you get past it, it's smooth sailing from there." The next comment comes in from Suberton. They wrote, "Heinkel's not in the A tier, he's in the S+ tier." Sheesh, you aren't wrong. The final comment comes in from Tristram. They wrote, "Amazing video as always. I really hate Heinkel so much, though I'm looking forward to the next chapter. The best is yet to come." Thank you, Tristram. I don't think you're alone with hating Heinkel, and the next chapter certainly picked things up. With that being said, thank you so much for the support as always. If you don't want to miss out on future Arc 5 summaries and more ReZero content, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.